Good afternoon. It's Valerie Ling, clinical psychologist from the Centre for Effective Living. This is my second video today. It's the launch of Sleep Awareness Week, and I wanted to just talk briefly about what it means to us as psychologists when we are working with clients who are presenting with sleep disruptions. To begin with, sleep is actually quite important, not just for our physical health, but for our mental health. When we sleep, the brain does its work of processing the day and filing away meaning and stories and events that we have encountered during our day into our long-term memory, preparing us for the new day. It's also really important in terms of our learning. Sleep helps the neural pathways to generate and even regenerate so that we are actually able to be growing and learning and as efficient and as alert as we can for the very next day. So when we do not get sleep and when that is accumulated, it really does impact our sense of mental well-being. We could have disrupted sleep when we're undergoing periods of stress. So when you are particularly keyed up and stressed about something that's going on in your world, the mind finds it hard to switch off. We might worry, we might try to problem solve, we might try to reach in and figure out and get a sense of, okay, what am I going to do? By and large, however, when that stressful period is over, our sleep should go back to its normal patterns. So the average adult probably requires about 8 hours sleep. And when we say sleep is impacted, what we mean is the inability to fall asleep, the difficulty of staying asleep. We might actually wake up several times in the night. We might also wake up much earlier than what we need to wake up for, and the net result of that is an impacted quality of sleep. So as a mental health practitioner, when sleep is being disrupted and the quality of sleep is impacted such that someone is reporting not just a reaction to a stressful period, but it's ongoing, more than 2 weeks, maybe up to several months, and they're actually saying, look, my sleep's just not been great. And we're also then looking for a clustering of other symptoms that the person is experiencing. For example, generalized anxiety disorder is an anxiety disorder of worry, a worry that cannot be switched off. And it's not just in one area, it's not just in work, it's in several areas: finances, relationships, health, social worries. And the worries play on in our mind, they're intrusive, they just come without the ability for us to switch off. And it also starts to impact sleep. And people who experience generalized anxiety disorder will actually say that the disrupted and impacted sleep has been going on for months. Disrupted sleep can also come about with a depressive episode, and that's where there's a clustering of symptoms such as hopelessness, low mood, inability to feel motivated, not wanting to be with people, not feeling like you want to engage in the things that used to bring you pleasure. So with depression also comes impacted appetite and impacted sleep. We might also see impacted sleep in post-traumatic stress disorder. So when someone has experienced a traumatic event, they might actually find that their sleep starts to become rather impacted. There is a sense of being hypervigilant, really alert and keyed up after the traumatic event. You might experience nightmares. You might experience what we call re-experiencing, flashbacks, as if the traumatic event is happening all over again. And this too can impact sleep. So sleep, as a psychologist, we're very interested in knowing whether our clients are having impacted sleep, because it can actually help us also to figure out if there are other things that they're experiencing that might be indicative of a mental health issue. So If any of this has touched something that you think I actually do need to find out more information, because I think that sounds like what I'm experiencing, then I encourage you to start by gathering some information. Beyond Blue is a great website that talks about depression and anxiety. You can also talk to your doctor about what you've been experiencing. What I'm going to be doing is, as the week progresses, to talk a little bit more specifically into the mechanisms of disrupted sleep, particularly with what we as psychologists work with. How do we actually help someone who's not sleeping well? So with that, I'll leave you today and talk to you very soon.